So I've had the opportunity to work with Inman for probably 6 or 7 years now, and I've had a few presenters in the past who have surprised me with like a boa made of cash. She wanted us to know she was very successful. I had someone want to bring a goat on stage in the past. That really happened. Brad put an end to the goat. But today, I think this one beats all because of just the massiveness of what's about to come out. So I want to introduce to you Nick Tiger Quay with Avanti Way Realty in Miami. Come on out.
Wow, all you people here today for the official Inman 2040 paddleboard race. How exciting is this? Hi, I'm Nick Tiger Quay, your paddleboarding real estate expert from Miami. As the world around us changes, our industry and the way that we do business must change as well. Our business is a lot like paddleboarding. Some mornings I wake up just before sunrise, I look out off my balcony on the island I live on in Miami, and I see this flat calmness. I can hear the parrots starting to chirp, and all I can think about is paddleboarding with this beautiful pod of dolphins that lives in the area. As I set out for my adventure of the morning, I have all these beautiful visions in my head, and as I round the end of the island, sometimes I see some chop, 2.5 to 3 feet coming at me. A gust of wind comes and it tries to knock me off the board. Off in the distance at downtown Miami, I see a storm brewing. Quickly, I have to make a decision. Do I keep on paddling and seeking out my adventure of the morning to meet my dolphins in the open bay? Or do I turn around? Do I stay my course and keep on doing what I was intending to do that day? Or do I turn back? So in real estate, there's a lot of things that we have to deal with on a regular basis. To be competitive in paddleboarding, you have to train, implement research, implement and train again. There's a lot of stages to be a good paddleboarder. If you ever want to go and do a 20 or 30 mile paddleboard race, there's only one way to do it. Know inside your heart that you're going to finish. Know inside your heart that you can do it, and you do it one stroke at a time, stroke by stroke by stroke. In a world that's changing, to stand out, you have to change the way that you do business to better serve others. To be the most successful agent that I can be, I always put my clients' wallets above my own. It's good business and it's good karma. Learning all that I can about what influences my market is key. Today, nature is directly affecting the real estate industry more than ever in our lifetime. There's floods, fires, droughts, earthquakes, hurricanes, landslides, and much more. Just like the communities and the cities that we serve, we need to be resilient. We as agents should incorporate resiliency not only into our businesses, but into our lives. How and why I got into real estate is a story of resilience and some storms that I had to weather over a multi-year period. It was right here in New York City. I was staying at this very hotel 14 years ago, almost to the date. I started having some pain from everything I was eating. I was a chef at the time, and I was in town for a big international food conference. And as a chef, I'm sure you can imagine when the food that you're creating and the food that you're eating is giving you so much pain, it becomes difficult. So through this process, I was sick in New York for a few days, get back to Miami, and I spent my first night in the hospital. Doctors were trying to diagnose me, did a lot of different tests. It's all inconclusive. A few weeks later, they started diagnosing me with different things, all kinds of gastrointestinal related things. At one point, they were even fearful that I might have some rare intestinal cancer. This is important because it's a story of resilience. I was getting really sick. I was scared. When I was in New York, before that, I was 215 pounds. Right now, I'm about 195. So by the end of this, I was 161 pounds. I lost 25% on my body weight in less than 6 months. I was afraid I was going to die. I had days that I was in so much pain, and I needed to be close to a bathroom. I was violently ill when these spasms and situations occurred. So I was always close. I'd pass out on the floor of my bathroom, using a towel as a pillow and another one to keep me warm. And I'd wake up in the bathroom as well. And there was still no diagnosis from my doctors. I had some days, to be completely honest, that I kind of wish I'd die. I was praying and begging, trying to understand what was happening to me. and as someone that grew up in a church with a lot of faith, I felt that I was losing it. There was no answers, no response, no resolve coming for me at the time. One day I woke up and I was just sick of being sick. I was tired of being sick and being scared. That day I started focusing on the things that I can do, never what I can't. I focused on the things that were good for me, not the things that were bad. If the food made me feel bad, I just stopped eating it. I ate grilled chicken and steamed vegetables for about 1.5 years as I slowly figured out my diet and everything else that was happening around me. During this time, I'm sure you can imagine, a chef that can't eat his food, a chef that can't eat the food that he's cooking, what do? We taste a lot of things. I had to find a career that my passion for serving people was going to work for me, that my passion for being creative and doing things my way was going to work for me. That's how I got into real estate. One of my best friends and mentors was saying, Nick, you should really get your real estate license. And I did. So like I said, as a story of resiliency, that's what brought me into the industry, as I needed control over my income and my life, and the passion to serve others. One thing that I did through resiliency is I learned that everything I can do is on the inside. And it's we wake up, whether you're facing floods, deals that are getting blown, a hurricane coming, it's your choice. Your business needs to be resilient in bad markets as well. So I only do real estate one way. I made this decision when I got into the business. I was going to do it one way, and that's my way. It's leading from my heart, doing the things that I believe in, serving my clients always before myself, putting their wallet above mine, putting their needs above mine. That's the only way that I do real estate. Now, I do real estate. It's what I do, but it's not who I am. Who do you want to be? Think about this. Who do you want to be? What type of agent do you want to be? How are you going to serve others in your community? What do you want them to be saying about you? As an avid waterman and paddleboarder, my entire life, I've been able to witness firsthand these changes that are happening in nature around us. There's a phenomenon called king tide. It's when the moon, the sun, and the earth lines up perfectly. Sounds beautiful, but it's actually not. The tides come in even higher. Everything rises. In South Florida, where everything's built on limestone, we're built on a giant sponge. We get sunny day flooding. It doesn't have to rain, and there can be floods. My point is that paddleboarding around and kayaking in Miami for the last 20 years, it used to be king tide. You'd still be a few feet below the docks. Now king tide gets so bad, there's fish and crabs in people's backyards. With my passion for staying involved at a local level in resiliency conversations, I'm able to better advise my clients. I help them make better purchase decisions, and I also let them know when it's time to sell. In a little bit, I'm going to go deep, and we're going to go over a few key points on how you can be a market leader, making your clients and yourself more money. Raise your hands. Who likes money? Who's here to make more money? Come on. All right. Your clients feel the same way. And you know who else feels the same way? The insurance companies. Insurance companies love to make money. Who here thinks that if the insurance company is receiving, let's say, $1 billion a year from a region, do you think it makes sense for them to pay out $1 billion if they're receiving $1 billion? No. Well, a lot of them have huge margins. What's going to happen as the world around us changes, there's going to be some shifts. The shifts are going to be the insurance companies, like it's already happening. There's a few cities around the country right now that it's almost impossible to get insurance. The insurance companies are going to have to raise the rates, or it's not going to be insurable at all. This is going to directly affect the real estate values in your area, whether you like it or not. So here's a typical day in Miami. Sunny, happy, bright. So I'm sure you can tell by my suit, it's right before Christmas. Within days of this photo, this is what we saw. The insurance companies love this photo. Cars were stranded all up and down the beach. My mother was staying with us, with my father for the holidays, and I had to drive her back up the beach about 3 miles to get to the hotel. Cars stranded in the middle of the road. I'm really happy I drove a big SUV. I was afraid my car was going to get flooded out. This is how bad it was, and it wasn't even king tide. There was millions of dollars in property damages, both residential and commercial. Like I said, the insurance companies hate these photos. Realtors, advocacy, and RPAC fights to keep flood insurance viable. Get involved in the conversation wherever you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable with RPAC, that's okay. Get involved at a local level and stay involved. This will help you stay aware to better serve your clients. Here's a photo of Venice. Venice has been dealing with high tides pretty much forever. If you notice in the photo here, they put these little steel barricades. They create a barricade to try to keep the water out. Not the best option. I don't want to see our country have to do this. Venice was built a very long time ago. This only proves the point that the world around us is significantly changing. Had they known what we know today, they would have built it differently. By a show of hands, who knows that the power companies in certain areas, especially in California, shut off the power when there's winds coming? Does anybody know that? I learned this recently doing some research, interviewing some other agents from around the country to be up here on stage for you. What they have to do is the power companies will shut off the power during a drought for 6, 8, 12, even 24 hours because they're fearful of the windstorms coming in, hitting a tree branch. Same thing we have in Miami. The tree branch hits the power line. Well, in a drought, when that power line hits and it snaps, electricity comes out. So imagine it hits a roof or a dry riverbed like this or a yard. It creates vast fires quickly, and that's part of the problems we're having in California right now. By a show of hands, who thinks you need to be a scientist to talk about anything up here that I'm talking about? Anybody that get to be a scientist? Me neither. I'm here to teach you how to stay on top and stay ahead of the crowd, how to best serve your clients. Here's a few of the tips I mentioned. Step number 1, identify your environmental zones. An environmental zone to me means that, for example, in Miami, we have million-dollar waterfront homes. We also have condos that could be on the water or not. We also have areas that are 20 miles inland. We have a small percentage of the area is not in a flood zone. The rest of it is in a national flood zone. It's important to understand the different environmental zones in the market that you serve. Number 2, ask your clients and listen to them. Anyone here that's farming a specific area, I don't care if it's a building, an island, or a whole city, if you ask people what they see as problems, hey, Timmy, what do you hate about living in your community? What do you think the city can be doing better? I can promise you, Timmy's going to give you an earful. He's going to tell you about the neighbor's dog, the lady down the street, the kid across the street playing the drums. You're going to hear all the issues the community faces and more. But this is really important to us. You're farming. You're going to be the expert. You have to have a pulse on what's happening in the community. Number 3, contact the local authorities. I got involved doing things civically a long time ago. I'm on 2 committees in my city. One of them is actually on sea level rise and resiliency. The other one is business development. It's important to get involved and contact the authorities because every single meeting that a city, a county, or the state has is public. It's the law. It's recorded and it's dictated. They even put the list out before. They put all the agenda items have to come out publicly days before the meeting. So if you want to stay involved with the community and you want to know that there's some infrastructure changes coming, maybe they're going to change the zoning. The island that I live on, we have a lot of changes. I'm involved in the city master plan. It's absolutely amazing. We're creating a master plan to allow for 8 to 12-foot raise in our sidewalks in the future. We're adding in some mixed-use space. We're increasing the density in certain parts of the island, and we're requiring the developers to add things that serve the community on the street side, where the water side is going to serve the public. We're adding in day docks, and we're adding in all these things. The fact that I know this versus most other agents in my area separates me in a really big way. The cities love to give you information, and it's all free. Number 4, now you're going to create an action plan for your farm area. You already know what your environmental zones are. You've talked to the community. These are your potential customers. You've talked to the local authorities. You're the expert. Now you have to look at what are the potential things you can do to maintain and increase the property values. Is it going to be changing the roof type? Is it going to be adding solar panels, impact glass, raising some of the utilities? These are things that you need to know. Number 5, research the costs. You can't just say to your clients, you have to make all these changes, but I don't know how much it's going to cost. It doesn't work that way. Contractors would love to tell you everything I do, every listing I have, I get quotes on all the things you can do to increase the value of the home. Sometimes I get 2 or 3. It's part of my package when the buyers come into every single property I have. Number 6, educate others on the benefits and value. You will be seen as the visionary, so be the visionary. Being able to take all this information, you've identified the environmental zones. You've spoken to the public. You know what their concerns are. These are your clients. You know what they want to hear. Give it to them. Be the expert with the local authorities. Create the action plan. Research the cost. Be able to articulate this. When you can talk about this to your clients, not only are you going to help your buyers make a better decision, you can go to sellers and tell them when it's time to sell a home. Who here doesn't want to get more listings? Everybody wants more listings, right? This is a way you can do it. Not to mention, when they trust you and they know that you're putting their interest above your own, who do you think they're going to work with? This is like real estate 101. They always teach us they're going to work with who they like and who they trust. So be the trusted advisor. Number 7, this is one of the most important ones to me. Always be the agent that you would hire. I'm going to say that again. Always be the agent that you would hire. Raise your hands if you know your farm area better than anyone else, by a show of hands. Now, what does that mean? Do you know where the best dry cleaner is in the area? Do you know where the best local dog park is? My clients want to know where the best grilled octopus is in Miami. They want to know where to see the sunsets, where the best paddleboard spots are. This is important. So being the local agent, being the local expert, and being the agent you would be is important here. It's even more important to know about the environmental issues. Imagine not only the dog park and the dry cleaner, but you know about the environmental impact that's going to happen now and in the future in the area. To be the most successful agent I can be, I always put my client's wallet above my own. Now I want everyone to make a little power pose, put a hand up in the air, and you're going to repeat after me. You ready? Let me see here. Yes? Thank you. It's our responsibility. All right, come on. Not only as real estate professionals, but as neighbors and noble advisors, to be the difference and continue to change. Get excited. The way that we do business, you're going to make more money, I swear, as the world around us is changing. That's it. Congratulations, my friends. You're leaving here to be experts and visionary leaders in your markets. Thank you.